Adkins. I'm from Team 3138 in Dayton, Ohio, and I'm here to talk about the Chairman's Award. I guess my first question is, have all of you applied for Chairman's Awards in the past? Like, got any rookies here that have never applied? And has anyone here won the Chairman's Award? Okay. Twice? In 2004? Okay. Okay. I can't see your team number, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So, there's three parts of the Chairman's Award that's important. The essay, which is 10,000 characters, the video, and the judges, that you go in front of the judges. The first thing I can say about the essay, you want to pick someone that is a good writer and that knows your team well. You're going to want to possibly take your essay, if you don't have someone on the team that is a good proofer, to take it to an English teacher or someone that can proofread. You want to make sure that there's no spelling mistakes, that your grammar is well within your writing. And you're going to want to give personal examples and make sure that you answer every question that you're asked in the Chairman's. So for example, how has a team explained or demonstrated why it should be a good role model for other teams to emulate? So you want to talk about how your team interacts with other teams, how your team's involved with your mentors, how you spread the word about FIRST Robotics, and how your team acts on and off the playing field. You want to talk about all those things that make you a good role model. Give specific examples. If you can get quotes from your actual team members, that's an excellent thing to put in there. Something they've experienced, or through a community service, something that made them feel like they were a good role model. The next question would be like, how well has your team communicated its excitement and impact within the entire school community, beyond, through participation in FIRST, during the year and prior years? You can only go back 3 years, so you're mostly going to talk about the current year, because that's the thing that's going to be most important. And then you're going to talk about things you did in the past year. You're going to talk about your community outreach. You're going to talk about if you have any state or local government things that you've approached, which is really important for the chairmans, and how you communicate with your school. Our team is not part of a school, so it's really hard for us to meet those criteria. We actually are a multi-school district, and we're a nonprofit. So we have to talk about how we outreach to our community and get our community involved, because we don't have no direct school involvement. Like I said, giving examples and talking about how your team interacts with your community, maybe through your fundraising, that you go out and you give demonstrations to those sponsors. Let's see what other examples I can think of. How your team contacts those sponsors and talks to them for goods and service donations, or actual money donations. All those community outreach things are important to the judges. How has your team demonstrated an innovative way of spreading FIRST? That's probably most hardest for most teams, because each team has to come up with a way beyond FIRST that they have actually spread the message about FIRST. Talking to other judges, I have found that they like to look for something that is not directly FIRST related. How have you reached your community outside of FIRST? Almost every FRC team starts FLL teams. Almost every FRC team mentors FLL teams. Almost every FRC team helps with FTC teams. They're looking for something beyond that. What makes your team unique, different? The year we won, we actually went to a baseball game and shot baseballs with like the first pitch, and videotaped it, and then we had a booth that everybody from the baseball stadium could come up and talk to us about. So we were in an environment that nobody knew about FIRST. Most people there had never even heard of FIRST. So that's what you want to do. You want to put your team in that kind of environment. That's what's going to make you stand out. Some of the other things that our team has done is, like, we went to Boy Scout camps and give demos, or you're looking for something that other teams are not doing that makes you unique and stand out. One of the next questions is, how strong of year-round team partnership effort is reflected during the year and prior years? This is where you can really emphasize how your team works together with your community and your sponsors and your mentors and your school. You can talk about your goods and service donations. You can talk about your school support. You can talk about how your students work together as a team. You can talk about your relationship between your mentors and your students. Some of those, taking some quotes from your mentors or your students on, maybe there was, I'm just going to give an example. Maybe you guys went to a community outreach, and at that community outreach there was a student there that didn't speak very good English. And you guys went out of your way to make sure that person understand what FIRST was about, either by showing or doing. Like I said, you're looking for something that makes your team unique and stand out. In that essay, you want to make sure that you answer every one of those questions in detail. You don't want to skip a one. If you can't think of any innovative way that you guys spread FIRST, dig deep. It can be anything, like I said, that you want to look for any demo that you did outside of FIRST or something that would make you be unique and stand out. As a whole, does the content of the documentation give you the true meaning of FIRST? And the true meaning of FIRST, of course, is not how successful your robot is, but how successful you're spreading the FIRST message, teaching your students, putting together partnerships, and having an impact on your community. So make sure in your essay that you're talking about, not about your robot, but about your team, your community service, your outreach. Those are the things that are going to help you win the Chairman's Award. Not that we've won the last 5 regionals that we've been to. That is not what makes you a good chairman's candidate. It's what your team have done for each other, for your community, and what sponsorships that you've gained and how you've let your community be aware of FIRST by spreading the message. Let's see. Then they have those short answer questions, and they're really hard because they're only like 500 characters per question. Like, briefly describe the impact of FIRST program on the team. Give role model examples how your team, other teams can emulate your team. I mean, those are very like 1 sentence, 2 sentences. So you can pick the best part out of your essay and you can answer those questions with that. That's what we always go back to. It doesn't matter that it repeats in those short answer questions. So you want to make sure, again, like I said, once your essay is done, that somebody has reviewed it, somebody has proofed it, that it is the best that you can give out, and that other people in your team have read it and feel like, especially the people that are going to go in front of the judges, that they know what you've discussed in your essay, because they're going to be asked questions about that, so that's pretty important too. The judging process. And I know this has really been up in the air, what you're allowed to do in the judging session. You're allowed to take your video and you're allowed to show your video. But the judges can watch the video on their own time. This is the time for your team to give the judges the best of you. So, in my opinion, it's best that you talk to the judges and you don't show your video, because it's very important that the judges can ask you questions and you can tell about personal experiences maybe on the team, and then the team as a whole, how they handled a certain situation. The judges are looking for personal things. They're looking for what makes your team stand out. And that video they're going to watch on their own anyway, so take that time to really impress the judges. Choosing students to go in front of the judges. Of course, you're going to want to choose students with some of the most experience on your team, the students that have participated in the outreach and can answer questions about your outreach. Choose students who impact your team, that play a big role in your team, maybe your team captain. Sometimes it's really hard because sometimes your biggest players end up being your drive team, and it's really hard to separate your drive team for a judging thing. But in the past, if that happens to us, we always just have a backup person. If they happen to be in judging when we have to go out on the field, we actually let somebody else go out on the field, because it's really important that if you want to win a chairman's, that you have your best students in there, the 3 best students that can talk to the judges. That means they're good speakers, they're not nervous in front of the judges, they know your outreach, they know your team. They don't necessarily have to know your robot. I mean, they can answer questions about the robot, but it's more about what your team has done. Make sure you have a game plan and you know what you're going to talk about. Then what you provide to the judges is the next thing. we are really good. We are scrapbookers. I know every team isn't that, but your students can stand up and say, we went to this community event, we did this and this, but showing them proof of those items can be really important and maybe put you above some of the other teams. So we try to scrapbook. We try to give the handwritten what we've done in our essay, then also talk about it in our judging meeting, but then show it in pictures and show it in thank you letters. One of the things we always do is if we go anywhere and do a demo, we go back and request, can you give us something to show we were here, a thank you letter or a participation letter? And they are always very compliant and write very good letters. So we've always created a judge's packet that we hand out, which includes, of course, our essay, which they've already read because that was uploaded, but I'm sorry. Then a list of every community event we've done, dates, and how many people it impacted. So if we go to a school and there's 300 students sitting there, we try to tell them we were in a group of 300, in front of 300 students, or 300 businessmen because we, did a presentation at Booz Allen Hamilton or whatever. So it's really important to how many people you're impacting, not that you're just going in front of just a couple people. And then we include all our thank you letters and letters of support. So not only do we get thank you letters, anybody that a sponsor or somebody that have been really impressed by our team will go back to there and say, can you write something about our team that impressed you? So we get actually letters of support also. And we include those in our booklet. And then any teachers that possibly were involved. Since we aren't a school team, we still mentor FLL teams. So the teachers that are involved with those FLL teams at the school districts, we get them to write us letters of a thank you letter of how our student mentored and what part they played on that team. And then any newspaper articles. And I don't know, most teams, if you've done anything, even if you've competed, you should get a hold of your local papers and talk to them about, can you write an article about our team? This is what we do. And we've been very successful, whether we had a successful regional or not, just getting them to put articles about us and our team. And not does that only help us, but it helps our community be aware of who we are. They always say first is still the best secret in the world, and it truly is, because with every place we go, there's still so many people that have not heard about First Robotics. Even in our small community, that we've done 100 demonstrations, there's still people every day that we come across that don't know First exists. So writing those paper articles in your newspaper are important. And then lastly, and this changed last year, but we used to put our business plan to the back, but now that has to be submitted online. We still probably will keep it in our booklet, but starting last year, you had to submit your business plan for the Entrepreneurship Award. So that was something else we kept in our booklet. So this booklet gives the judges something to walk away with, and if they haven't taken them, we leave them. When we go in for our judging session, we leave the booklet so they have something else to go back and refer and go, oh, they did that demo, and oh yeah, there's a letter from the person that they demoed that what kind of job they did. And it's proof, picture proof, written proof, and then in your words how you did on your chairmans. Lastly is the video. And I'm going to be truthful, the year we won, our video stunk. So I'm not sure that the video plays a huge part in it, but the videos should be a representation of your team, whether it be, ours was just a series of pictures. It really wasn't any video because we were a second-year team and we hadn't grown to the point where we could actually video anything. We didn't have a video camera or anything, so it was just snapshots with detail about what was going on, but it was snapshots about our community service and some of the stuff that we put in our scrapbook. I've seen some really impressive videos from some teams, so I know there's teams that put a lot of work into their videos. So if you have somebody on your team that's actually willing to videotape and put it all together, that's wonderful, but if not, just do the best you can in providing them with some kind of video that give them pictures or something about your teams, because I know a lot of teams don't have, the really small teams don't have nobody dedicated to do that, and it's really hard to find somebody that is willing. We've struggled for 4 years to find somebody to try to videotape. So And then with the video, I think they discussed in the last one, you have to have a release form and make sure that you've signed that release form and turned it in with it. So if you use any music or any pictures, which you're going to have pictures, that that you're saying that you have a release for that and you're allowed to use it. And then on Friday morning, you have to make sure that you sign up to be judged. Not only have you turned in a chairman's and say, you have to actually go to the table and sign your name and pick a judging time. So usually there's a piece of paper laying there with the number of blocks of teams that are, and they have time slots. So you're going to go in. And if you can look at that and you already have your schedule, and some of the people on your drive team are also the people that are going in judges, a lot of times you can pick a time slot that best works for you. Now, as we know, all regionals don't go on time all the time, so it may not work out for you, and you may end up having to send somebody from your drive team in a judging event. But like I said, if that's the person that best represents your team, you're going to want to find somebody else for one match that can do your drive. If that's the award you're trying to go for, you need to give your best to the judges. Let me see if I missed anything, because I just rambled on. Let me see if I have any questions. Or if somebody wants to talk about the experience of the year that their team won, what they feel like they did differently than any other year. Yeah.
I think one of the more mysterious parts of this is the interview with the judges. It's like a lot of the other stuff you can read about it online, you can see other examples, but you really can't easily see what happens in sort of judging time.
Right.
And like you mentioned earlier, playing the video for them is probably not a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, I truly believe that.
I know you said you bring in a scrapbook or pictures to try to make it more connecting to the judges.
Right.
But there's a balance between talking to them, answering their questions, showing them things. Can you talk a little bit more how you played that out?
Yeah, our students do carry the scrapbooks in, and they'll actually leave them. And they do it on purpose, and usually the judges will bring them back to our pit at a later time, so the judges do have time to go back through them. But if they're talking about something specifically, like a community outreach that they did that impacted the community huge or whatever, and they have pictures, and they know in the scrapbook exactly where those pictures are, they'll just flip open the book and say, here are some of our students teaching this science roller coaster camp to this inner city school district or whatever it may be. But showing those pictures just gives them a visual impact of the students actually applying themselves. They're not seeing mentors, they're not seeing, all our outreaches, student driven and mentors go, but we don't do any of the camps or anything. Our students drive all those. So it's really important that, I said that visual. I think they had the video, but the visual when you're talking about it, I think can be a huge impact for them to actually see the pictures of your students and they're talking about it. If it's them in the pictures, then they can say, oh, here I was explaining the physics of, they could actually give a personal representation of what that picture is. And I think that something the judges will remember. That's good. I've zoomed right through. I mean, can you talk about it a little bit? Were you on the team the year you won? No, probably not. Okay. Okay.
It was full terms, but I know that we were really active with a handicap group then. It was a camp, and one of the girls' sisters was on, or cousin was at the camp, and
Okay.
so the whole team would go and volunteer there. And some of our team members still volunteer there, but we were partners. It's like documents and those.
Right.
But that was a big part of it,
And you can see she just said something unique, something her team did that was unique. You don't see very many teams going out and doing something specifically for a handicap. I mean, our team volunteers at a inner city. It's not a YMCA, but it's something like that. It's a really under-repressed area, and we volunteer every summer. They have summer camps that they run, and our team goes and helps the mentors of that camp teach those camps to those kids. And not only is it a great experience for the people they're going to help, but it's a great experience for our team because they always come back with things that amaze me. What not only, I interacted with this student, and actually they learn. It's an eye-opener. So, they learn from people that are definitely not as fortunate as them, and it's a it's a good environment for them to be in. So outreach is huge. Again, our team looks for every single thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, she asked if you should have a theme for your essay or should you just present facts. I've seen it both ways and I've seen it successful both ways. Our team usually just presents the facts. When we write our essay, we present, we answer the questions, but in a fluent manner. We don't post the question and answer it. We answer it within the essay. I have some examples of the essay the year we won, and people are welcome to take it if they want to look at the essay. So I think it's okay both ways, truthfully. But if you're going to write a theme, you don't want to hit it so many times that the judges are looking at it and they lose what the real point of what you're writing about.
So you should focus on like one event throughout the entire essay.
No, multiple. You want to talk about as much community outreach as you can in those 10,000 characters, and personal experiences, like I said, are pretty important. I can look for. Let me see if I can find a quick. Looking for some quotes. Actually, on the bottom of this, we actually took some of our good quotes from some of our thank you letters and actually included it in our essay from some of the like a mentor that we helped with FLL team. He's like, we had a great time in the tournament. Your team was confident, and our team was confident in what they put together because the knowledge that you guys provided in mentoring. Some of the programming tips and tricks went a long way to help create a better, more stable robot. And he's talking about their robot, of course. As a coach, you can only do so much, but having a mentor, which a team involved as a peer, made all the difference. So you're looking for those standout quotes that say your team made a difference, pretty much, is whatever they're doing, whether at the community outreach or mentoring an FLO team. You're looking for those unique experiences where you made a difference. So. Yeah.
What exactly did you guys focus on?
Community outreach. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, because we didn't have any video. Actually, it was all picture driven, but we did take pictures of our events that we were out, so we were able to put together, and it wasn't team driven at all. It was all community outreach driven. Our video was. So, and I think that's what we've done every year, actually, because the judges are trying to see, like I said, what you've done as a team to reach your community. And I mean, chairman's is all about outreach, pretty much. So, yes.
My curiosity is, do you personally have like a resource page or a web page?
Do we personally, as a team?
For this specific chairman?
No, we do not. We have some handouts on our website, like our business plan and some other things, but we do not have anything for the chairmans. But
That would be good. We're a new team.
Okay.
We have not done a business plan.
Okay.
We barely, I think, understand the gist of the chairman's report.
Okay. Are you guys a second year team?
Yes.
Okay. So you will be applying this year. Okay.
So I was just looking for resources to direct the kids.
Okay. Like I said, you're welcome to take one of these packets, which has, like, the year we won, that has our essay in it and kind of talks about, which this is a good resource for you. But like I said, documenting is huge also. I mean, we are very good about coming back and documenting all our events that we've been to and who was involved. And I mean, so you know who to go back and ask for those personal quotes. Well, you went to the Air Force Base and you showed your robot. What kind of feedback did you get from the people around? I mean, try to put personal stuff into it. Yes. Did you have another question? Oh, I thought I seen another. Oh, you're welcome. So, yes.
I have another interview question.
Okay.
The 3 people you send in,
Right.
do you actually have them practice anything, or just simply be really prepared and ready for whatever the judge
You know,
says?
we've never really had them practice. The people we pick, they are people that know our team. They know our team well. They participated in everything. And you could probably walk up and ask them any question, and on the fly they can answer it because they're just so involved. And that's really the type of people you want to send in there. You want the people that are comfortable talking about the team. And, you know, I don't think practicing it is a bad thing, don't get me wrong, that's for sure. If they feel better prepared, if they have note cards or something. But we've always had kids that have been so involved with the team and really can answer any question that anybody asks them that they've really never practiced. They go in and they know what they want to talk about, and then each one of them takes a subject and they discuss it amongst themselves and you know, talk about community outreach. I'm going to talk about, you know, what we did this year that was unique that other teams aren't doing, and I'm going to talk about, you know, so yeah, so yes.
So, like, for the people you choose to have those speak to the judges, do you recommend or do the judges care if you send in people who are involved in different parts of your team? So you have somebody who's really involved in electrical, somebody who drives a lot, somebody who does communication. Do they care about you have all these different groups represented?
No, not at all. But you want to make sure, like I said, the chairman's is not really about the robot. So you're not looking for people to send in that know about the robot. You're looking for people that know about your team and know about your outreach and know about how you guys work with your community, either for fundraising or for whatever. Yeah. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to send in somebody that is a robot. So if there's robot questions, they can answer it. But I definitely would try to lean towards the students that were more involved in the outreach. Yeah, question? Yes.
Do you guys use like a PowerPoint or anything like that, or are you just putting your scrapbooks?
We're not doing PowerPoint. The kids are, you know, they go in and just, like I said, they usually decide beforehand what each one of them are going to talk about. But and then we have our books, of course, that is our backup, and then our scrapbooks. So yeah. My team's not asking any questions. Come on, guys. No. Yeah.
One observation I made from last year from doing this was, it seems like, and maybe this isn't, I don't know if right or not, but that having your finances in order is important. Like chairman's award team that I imagine first wants to, they had to have they had a history, and they want to make sure they're going to have a history in the future too. So, I mean, how do you think that plays into it? How well your financial plan is together?
I think it plays that you talk about if your team is doing some kind of fundraising in community, how you raise your money for your team. I think the judges appreciate, to hear that you're trying to make your team, stay in existence. But as far as I don't think they look at your business plan and say, okay, I don't think, but I'm not a judge and I've never judged, so that might have been a question for the judges.
It's not something you emphasize.
No, it is not. But I know our kids have gone in and talked about how we raise money for our team. Most of ours is grant writing, but this past couple years we've actually started some team fundraising, and I can see that it's played a big part of what the kids talk about. So how they get involved with the community. Yeah. So. Any other questions? Conrad, think. So I do have some, I have a few handouts here if people do want to take them. It's mostly just about what you're going to find online about what the chairman's expects, but then there's also, like I said, an example of the year we won, what our essay looked like. I think the judges do like to see goals, and that's something that may talk about your future. In our essay, we always talk about our mission statement, what we're trying to do, and what our goals of our team are. We always talk about that because I think that to them, that proves to them that you're trying to keep existing as a team year after year, that you have set goals and that you're trying to achieve those goals. I can give you a quick example. One of ours is to increase youth involvement in STEM and sustain interest through the years, build community pride and support for STEM education and programs by demonstrating a positive impact FIRST has on our students' lives. So it's really important with our demos that we're just not showing our robot, that we're actually talking about not just about FIRST, because we are Innovators Robotics. We are a STEM organization. We do things outside of some robotics. But it is about talking about how it's impacted. you know, and the judges do like to hear how FIRST has impacted the students when they go in and talk about. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you ever talk about your community and just like your community? Because you don't have a school, so our school is like a STEM school. So we thought it'd be good to talk about how we could like influence our STEM school directly. Would you recommend that? Talking about that?
Yeah, because actually your STEM school is probably made up of multiples of schools, right? You have students coming from all different districts. So yes, actually emphasizing how many districts that involves. Like we have kids from 20 districts coming to our school together to, yes, that is an impressive thing to the judge, because not only that only proves how you guys can work together as a team, even though you guys are from all different areas. Yes, I think that would be a good thing to talk about. You seen another question?
Okay, I did when you one section back. Were you saying your team developed a statement?
Yes, a mission statement and goals. Yeah, it's part of our business plan actually that we did. But the judges do like to know that your team has goals and they're trying to reach those goals. So I think it's a good thing not to keep talking about that, but if you want to emphasize some of those things that you're trying to do, I think that's a good thing.
Place to start.
Yes.
Just one other question. I think a lot of the people here have done chairman's last year. Besides that you can, enter at every competition you're in, regional anyway. Is there any other changes you noticed from last year that were significant?
No. I mean, the years we've done it, I haven't really noticed any changes other than this year. You can, if I didn't bring it up, every regional event you go to, you can apply for chairman's unless you win. If you win, of course, you can't win at another regional event. But so that does open up the opportunity for all of us to take that feedback that you get from the judges, which is an excellent piece of paper. So if you go to a regional event and you do not win a chairman's award, they give you a feedback sheet. And it gives you time to go through that feedback sheet and actually prepare yourself better if you actually are attending a second regional and applying for a chairman's there also. So you can take that feedback and say, okay, they said we didn't do very good on talking about our community support or whatever those pinpoints. I wish I would have brought one of those sheets, but I didn't. But those are things that you can work on with your students to try to prepare them better for the next time they're in front of the judges. Because that's all about the judging. That sheet is all about the judging. So, yeah. And I know a lot of teams here have done a lot of things that I think have already put them up there to win a chairman's, but presenting it is the whole key. And I think presenting in front of the judges are the biggest key to winning. Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of good essays and I've seen a lot of good stuff, and I wondered to myself, why didn't that team win? And the judges, going in front of the judges, you do want to pick your students that can represent your team the best. Like I said, even if it's your drive team and you have to not do so well on a match because you have to put somebody else in, if you want to win a chairman's, you need your best students in front of the judges. So.
Any more questions?
Are you going to post this on your websites?
Yeah, the plan is to put the video up, put the link up to the video so other people can see it.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'm sorry? Yeah, it should be, and hopefully, probably, I don't know, soon for week.
So like I said, I have a few of these. If people want to come up, I could probably have like 10 or so of these if anybody wants to
Okay, so we
grab
have
one.
a round of applause for our speaker.